Alright, this is part 4 of our build. I appreciate y'all guys tuning in. So far we've got our screen deck mounted. We got our wings on our deck. We got our wings up there. These wings are separate on our deck. You can see how it moves separate from them. We got our plate underneath. There's our plate that's going to pull everything as it falls down through our screen. It's going to pull it all forward so it'll come closer down here and go back. There you can see it. We got it all reinforced. I think everything's pretty much tacked in up there. So I've got to come back and weld it. And all these are welded good, but the top cap, the angle and stuff. There's our trommel barrel. This next, we're fixing to pull it out and get started on it. We just got a little bit left to do on this one. We cut a little more out from under here. That gives us a little bit of adjustment. We can drop it down a little bit. But our drive shaft will be up on that end. It'll come through the side. Our motor will be mounted on the outside. Probably on the other side though. We're gonna have a weight on the drive shaft that's gonna make this thing vibrate. All of our material will fall down and go out the other end through the chute. It'll come out this chute right here. Come out this chute and run straight in here. This is the frame we're building for our weight. We're gonna put a 25-pound weight right in between those two that's closest together. That way it'll be supported pretty good. That's an 1.25 inch bar. There's our weight. It's 25-pound weight. It's just come off a barbell I had. I think we're gonna cut one of them notches out right there to offset it. It should work. You see how smooth it turns. Sorry about the dog barking. But yeah, we're gonna mount it. We got it mounted in here. You see that thing spinning. Once we cut that notch out, it'll bounce some. But we cut a hole. We're gonna actually have to cut this hole a little bit bigger. We just cut one to get the shaft through. We'll figure it out later. You see how good that thing spins. And David's finishing up some welding up here on this deck. We got all these wings we got to weld on. Here we are at the scrapyard. You know how we love the scrapyard. We ended up getting a bunch of chains. That whole machine right there's got chains all over it. And they're like, I don't know, 1 foot to 2 foot long, so we got a whole bunch of them and then ended up putting them together to make a chain. There's our spray bars. We don't have the knobs in them yet. We're fixing to do that. And David's gonna cutting holes in each one with that plasma torch. And we're just gonna come back and stick the nozzles in and weld them. They're 3/8 and about 3 inches. I think we cut them 3 inches long. That's not where they're gonna be. We just laid them up there because we got to do a lot of welding. We're gonna weld some 3/8 nipples in them. Here, you see they're gonna be riding on those green pieces of channel right there. That way we can slide them back and forth. They're gonna be separated, so all three of them will be separate. Those other two you see, those crooked ones right there, those are gonna go up there under that rail and go up the sides. So to spray in the crash box up there where we loaded at. We got chains. We can adjust the height, you know, the angle of it with our chains. So we got some extra chain here. Got those on both sides. I've been doing a little bit of painting, trying to get this thing painted. We're working on the pulley here. It's gonna turn our shaker. You see that thing's still moving. It's gonna turn that right. That's a 25-pound weight, so we're gonna cut that out right there to offset it, the weight. That way it should shake pretty good. There I am doing some welding and grinding. I never show myself because I'm always using the camera, so I thought I'd got my wife to do a little bit and recording for me. And that's the nozzles we're going to put in. They're 3 inches long, 3/8. You see the holes we drilled. We're going to have 3 sets right here above the shaker table, the shaker. We're going to have one right there. They're going to be spraying back that way, and then we got them all the way up through there. They're going to be coming out both sides.
That right there, that is Santa's sled. Come here to the side and look. We've built Santa's sled. We need somebody big and stand up there with their red suit on, and we'll put that Mini X in front of it and tie some leaders to it.
Heck yeah. Alright guys, we're back out here this morning. We got our spray bars working on them. You can see all of our little nozzles we put in there, 3/8 nozzles. These go in different places, so some of them are angled and then some of them are straight. I'm gonna weld all these. Take me a little bit. We got them all tacked in. Some of them we may squish flat, like put a screwdriver in there and then squish it flat. Some of them we may leave. We're gonna leave them round first and see how it does when we pump water to it, and then go from there. And you can see where that spray bar goes into this one. That's where they attach. Our water will be coming from that side, filling that one up. And so this one will be sitting like right here, facing up into the box, and it will feed those two on each side. These three right here will be facing straight down over the screen, and they will... There's David welding the spray bars in. There's where we weld. You can see where we attached it right there. It's attached on both sides, so it's like a U shape. It ends up there. It's just capped off. Each one of them on the side are capped off. We'll be pushing the water with a 4-inch pump. And we got 4 2-inch pumps also. We may have to add a few 2 inches. This is where we had to hone out this bearing because we ordered them off eBay, and you know that's what you get when you spend $30 on 4 pillow block bearing. But they work good. We just had to hone them just a little bit.
I feel like I'm removing a lot of material.
Off-sized. You see how they want to go up on there? They just barely had to remove any. This is our first pulley setup. We went through a bunch of them. We've been to Harbor Freight so many daggum times. We went 4 times in one day, getting pulleys, taking pulleys back. But we finally got what we like, and it's not that. We end up with different pulleys. We end up with a chain on the motor with our slip clutch. You see our little spring right there. All right, guys, we've been working this thing all day. We finally got our belts on. Got our pulleys. We've been to Tractor Supply like 3 times a day trying to get the right belts. Actually 4 times. And the right pulleys. We finally got everything together. And we can't crank it because there's too much tension here. Which, you know, that belt's not real tight. But there's too much compression to crank the motor. We can take the belt off to crank right up. So we're going to get a slip clutch tomorrow. Put on the motor and hopefully that'll work. We'll probably have to get a different belt again. But we'll get it. We got something to work with now anyway. Spring, we got a cable right here. We put some, taped up the end so it didn't cut us. Uncut. Got that. Got our tensioner. That ought to work pretty good. This pulley come out of a furnace, an old furnace. Actually, the drive shaft did too. We ended up using a different drive shaft. Our pillow block bearings would not fit, so we had to hone them out a little bit to get them to slide up on there. We got all that. So we got it running. We got our chain on right there with our slip clutch. Everything's running good. We got a notch cut out of the weight. Got it vibrating. We're going to adjust it a little more. I think we're going to take a little more out of the weight to give it a little different vibration. That thing's loud though. You see it's shaking pretty good. We're going to change it a little bit. We may end up putting springs on the front. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. I want to leave those chains. We'll just have to wait and see. I took this on my drone the other day. You see how much it's changed. That's when we first started. Got the legs on it. Got it stood up and got the bottom cut out of it. But you see the difference now. We've added a lot to it, and it does look like a sleigh. That's crazy. All we've got left now is to hook our water up right there on those spray bars, and we'll get that done, and we'll probably put it in. The next video is going to be a Trommel video. We're going to be building our Trommel. We've about got it built. I've got the video going now, and I'll get that out to you. And I appreciate everybody. Y'all like, share, subscribe.